Sorry, so it's a minute after. I don't have anything special. It's like the day after Labor Day. I just literally rolled into town at like 10 o'clock last night. So I don't have any special things to talk about. But if anybody has any questions, I guess that's you, Robert. Any questions?
The only question I have is, I just wondered if we're going to have the video recordings of the user group conference.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
I've been looking for them. I haven't seen them, but I could have missed them.
Okay, that's me. I couldn't get to the screen fast enough. So the recordings are done and posted. I'm trying to write a big thing, which is dragging me down about announcing it and wrapping up the conference and everything. But I'll put these links in the chat, but I'll also tell you where to find them. So if you go to the conference agenda at hdfgroup.org/hug/hug24/agenda, and I'll put that in the chat for you, but I'm just putting that
Okay.
in the recording. You'll find links to slide decks and YouTube videos for pretty much everything. There's like one or two that we're waiting on permission for. Um, and then also, if you go to our YouTube channel, you can see all the recordings there and there's a playlist. So after I'm done talking, I'll get those links for you and drop them in the chat. And then I'll also put them in the description for the YouTube video as well.
Oh, okay. Thanks. That's great.
Thanks, Robert. Thanks for asking.
Yeah, I wasn't there, so I'm really looking forward to looking at a bunch of those. Seem like there are a lot of really good talks.
Okay, well, I emailed everyone internally, Dana, so you don't have an excuse.
Yeah, I've been
I know.
doing other stuff.
So I'll put those links in the chat for you, Robert.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Yes. I need a second pass on a couple of those.
Anything else?
Dana, I said you would update on releases. Can you tell us about the next HDFI release?
Oh yeah, I can do that. Let's see. So let me grab in here and I will fire up HDF5 here. Share screen. This one? Sure. Share. Great. Okay. So let's see. Is this the one that's moving here? Right. Okay. So let's see. So this is what we have coming up. So the next release is going to be 114.5. That is going to be at the end of September. Right here. So the cutoff for getting things in is the 13th. We don't really have a whole lot of outstanding things. The only thing I can think of that I may get done this week is the AWS environment variables and the S3 URLs for the read-only S3 VFD. But I think most other stuff is not really that critical. We should have signed binaries for this. So have MSI installers and TMG installers for Mac and Windows. Um, but yeah, so I was hoping to get more OSS fuzz fixes in. There's just not going to be enough time for that. So hopefully we'll get that stuff in for 116. And that means there may be a 114.6 release. I'm going to try to avoid it if I can. But if we did get a lot of crashers fixed between now and then, I'd probably think about just clicking the button again and getting a 114.6 release out so that people have security fixes. And then yeah, so the 116 release again still on this release schedule here in at the end of March at the same time as the 114.6 release. And I'll probably leave it there until we have much firmer plans. But in my head, this is something that's going to take place a month or three earlier in like kind of the January, Feb time period. So we'll come back from the holidays, assess what we have, and then put that together. I really do want to have enough time this fall to go through and look at the the library defaults for a few things, and there's a few other inconsistent areas where we might want to do some renaming or some tweaking. But again, I don't want that to be a difficult upgrade for people. So I'm going to try to minimize disturbing people's existing software because I want people to be able to just very easily go from 114 to 116. Again, because the real reason that we're doing this is for complex numbers, and I can't put complex number support in a 114 release because earlier versions of 114 wouldn't know what to do with the complex numbers. So, um, So it's really mainly for that. And I really do want to reset some of the library defaults to modern values. But other than that, that's kind of what we have coming up. There's I go in here and look at, just for anybody who cares about the other two key products that we have here. So HDF4 will have another release that's going to be at the end of February. So February is usually when we release stuff. This is going to involve a library renaming for anybody who's watching at home and is concerned with HDF4. So the HDF4 library in the auto tools will be renamed to be like CMake. And then HDFU will release at the end of April. So we do HDF4, HDF5, and then we do HDFU, and this will have the latest versions. It'll have HDF4 4.4, and we'll probably have it go against 116. So I think this actually should be 3.4.0, not 333 because of that. But yeah, so that's basically what's coming up. So this should have like support for complex numbers in it because it'll be against 116.0. And then what else is going to be? Oh, and I really would like to get paging. So you don't, right now we open the entire file with HDFU. It'd be nice to where if you open a data set, it does kind of like a paging thing where it just dynamically loads data so you don't have to swamp your computer looking at larger files. I'd like to get that in there. I just don't know if we're going to have the resources to do that, but that's high on my priority list. That's what I got for releases. Any other questions?
If people don't have technical questions, or I can talk for a second and then go back. Dana, can you click the link in the chat I just put in the forum?
Where did my...
So I just wanted to make this public again, although it's on the forum, and I am not the project leader on this by any means, but this is something I helped work on. So we have a new support portal at the, I think, easiest to remember URL of support.hdfgroup.org. It's a new home base for the documentation. Wow, that's hard to see on your screen, Dana. For the documentation, which is kept with the code. So from the documentation link, you can get to what's stored in the HDF5 repo. But we're just kind of working on trying to streamline the URLs that we use for content. And this will be the one to remember going forwards for users, support.hdfgroup.org. So there's, the write-up on the forum, there's the post that Garrett made that kind of explains some of our logic behind doing it this way, and just kind of a little update on the progress that we've made with fixing our documentation situation. So I'm happy that this is launched and we are still working on it.
Cool, very important. Very nice.
Anything else, technical questions or anything else they want to discuss?
One thing I mentioned along the way, just minor announcement, sort of the deadline for works in progress for the supercomputing PDSW, the major focus on data storage at supercomputing, that workshop, is the 13th of September. And I'm tossing around submitting a couple of works in progress there, but just thought I would mention it for the community here too, that was watching this or listening in and had something interesting to submit, that'd be a cool thing. Just 5 minutes to talk about what you're working on.
And if you want to send me a link for people, I can put that in the video description later.
Sure. Get it real quick and then I can post it in this chat, which...
Oh, yep, even better. I'll grab it from there.
There you go. I think that's the right thing. Okay. Sorry, I posted it a little while ago.
And then Dana, do you have working group plans would be the next thing to talk about?
No, we'll just look over the outstanding issues for this next working group. Oh, I think this, I'm sorry. This one actually, hang on, let me go to the
and maybe if we're done with Quincy's thing, I just wanted to.
Oh, mine was done. Sure.
Lori, I had one question for Quincy. Quincy, if any of the ideas that you're kicking around on presenting come to pass, will you let us know here so we can give us a heads up here so we can see that?
Yeah, sure. I may, uh, well, I was thinking about the three topics I covered in the keynote at Hug as potential submissions, and those would be topmost on my list. But after I get a thumbs up or thumbs down, I can ask Surin or the committee members, hey, can I talk about this earlier? I certainly don't care. But, since it is a workshop presentation, they may want first dibs on the talk.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
happy to do that. One way or the other, it'll come here and it might be after supercomputing in November. But you probably will hear other dribs and drabs and pieces of it well before then, too. So.
Okay.
Okay. So what I have on here, so this is the HDF5 working group. So I have this actually for a few weeks out. So this one, we'll just talk about the 114.5 release briefly. There'll be some discussion of this H5T set size for the complex number PR. And then the structured chunk discussion. So the follow-up from the 22nd August meeting. So there's some link down here to um, I thought we had it on. Oh, here. So structured chunk stuff. Um, then the 12th is a plugin working group meeting. And then on the 19th of September, we'll talk again about the H5T set size. And we'll talk about the 114.5 release because this is going to be right before it releases. So
Good. Okay, so the set size will be in the working group then.
yeah. No, I don't think there's anything specific in the wiki for the working group yet. Yeah, it's mostly just talking about if there's anything that needs to get done for the 114.5 release.
Minor FYI, I should have that other project here at NVIDIA wrapped up and off my plate, so we'll be focusing on the thread safety work, with most of all of my development attention for the next couple of months, I'm expecting.
Right. So if people are testing the develop branch, that does have an occasional TT safe failure. So
Yeah.
that's a thing to watch out for.
No, actually, I think we got almost all this sorted out, but there's a timeout that's related to the old recursive read-write locks that may happen. It's correct, it works fine, but the timeout happened. I'll fix it.
Cool. Anything else? Okay. Well, thanks for coming, and we will see you next week.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
Bye. Bye.